Hey, welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Radio Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I save a soul along the way, don't hold that against me. We'll just call that icing on the cake, because the mission is to build strong businesses in our community so we can put our people to work. And we do that with business development, job creation, and service. You know, sometimes you find yourself at a business crossroads and you're not sure which way to turn. Well, I have a simple solution for that. Just turn on the Marketing Pulpit Radio Show. And how simple is that? We have solutions here, particularly if you are a business owner. And whether you're a business owner or not, this is a show that you really need to tune into, because we have answers, we have solutions, and we've been doing this now for 10 years going strong. So let's get off the, Let's get off the pot and let's do some things, particularly now. We're in the midst of a pandemic. Man, when you say pandemic, that's some serious stuff when you think about it. And we are, guess what? In spite of that, we are going to survive. We're going to make it. We're going to do okay. We're going to be all right. That's right. Everything is gonna be all right. I remember that song from a long time ago. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. I'm the Marketing Pulpit. We are here every Friday, 10:30 a.m., bringing you the good marketing gospel. As always, we have a great show lined up. We have a talented co-host, Miss Candace Camille. She's going to be joining me in a minute. We also have a special guest today, Miss Brand Lee, the model. She's going to be joining us a little later. And so go ahead and get your watch parties going, get your shares going, get your everything you need to do to get this show in the hands of the right people. And so give me a second here. I'm gonna get my go ahead and get my watch parties and all that good stuff going, because this is good information, folks. You all about to be informed, entertained, energized, and a few other adjectives that go along with it. So also, go to marketingpulpit.com to find out more about the show, find out what we're about. You can find out about the mission. You can find out about the guests, our co-hosts. For instance, on the first Friday of every month, we have Miss Bernadette Clay. On the second Friday, we have Miss Falashade, the accountant. On the third Friday, we have Wena, the therapist. And of course, on the fourth Friday, which is this Friday, we have Candace Camille, who is a very talented and just really erudite. I mean, she's all about the business, the body, the bank. And we're going to be bringing her up on in just a few seconds. As a matter of fact, let me just get her on here. Welcome. Good morning, Candace.
What's going on? How you doing this morning?
You over there looking like a breath of sunshine. You have
not. Come on now, talk to me. Talk to me this morning.
I know darn well you have not done any planking this morning. So you know.
Of course I've done planking. Listen, you know how you have your top stuff on. I'm ready to work out on the bottom, right? So I was like, okay, you gotta go from high performance trainer to CEO in a matter of seconds, and that's the best thing about just being in the wellness space. You just know how to turn it around, just like that.
I know what you mean. See, I have on this nice jacket and pocket square down bottom. I got on my blue jeans, my loafers, my bunny slippers. I'm playing to the camera, daggone it.
You gotta play to the camera these days, because let me tell you something right now. And I don't know about you, Robert, and I just want to mention this before we even move on, because you hear a lot of women talking about it. It's like now everybody got shaggy hair. I've had shaggy hair all my life, so I sit right in. But right here, it's like, what do you do? I think even in this pandemic, what Corona has caused us to do is really to do things for yourself that you are capable of, that you know how to do this. And when you're talking about trying to save your bank and increase your bank, the amount of money we put into just our vanity stuff is unreal. But because we can't go out, this has taught us to really learn how to do it for yourself. I know that's for women. What are you guys going through?
Well, let me put it this way. Then we have the old men from Mars, women from Venus. Believe me, we have our own challenges. I mean, just like you though, I have not missed a barber. I have been. I'm going to give a little secret. I've been cutting my own hair most of my life because, as a creative person, I found it a challenge to, I can cut it when I want to. I can. I mean, I don't have that much left, but I mean, I'm just telling you. But the little that I have left, get me a mirror, and so the pandemic has not affected me in that way. But it brings up to your point though that we are finding out that people that have been able to do a lot of things themselves are doing fairly well, and people who have not been are learning to, which goes back to a bigger point, Candace. We are not going to come out of this pandemic the same way we went in by a long shot.
Not by a long shot.
Not even close.
Not even close. It's going to be. We can't even use the word normal anymore. It's or your normal's on hold or whatever the case may be. But right now, you get to define it. Because just like summer's coming, this is coming to an end, and you get to define what on the other side of your beginning that's going to look like, because everything has changed. This is where we can say, so what, begin again, and you get to start wherever that you seem fit to start, so you can get through this. Because right now it's just, I call it our probationary period, right? Corona has put us on probation. Now we get to start, just like when you go get a job, you got 3 months probation. So Corona has put us on probation, right? And gonna see when it was all over if we gonna reap the benefits. If we gonna reap the benefits for doing what we were supposed to do inside of our probationary period.
Man, I love, girl. That is real talk, real talk. I'd like to welcome everybody tuning in on Facebook Live. We also have people tuning in on the YouTube Live, and we also have people tuning in on Periscope TV. Over Radio One, they're playing some of the rebroadcasts. So if you're tuning in on Radio One, then of course we are also on that platform. And you can go to marketingpulpit.com to get all of the listening options and find out more about our amazing co-hosts and our guests from past shows and so forth. And also we have a great lineup of sponsors, and we're just proud to be here. And once again, I always like to thank and give some special thanks to our frontline workers. And I'm going to have later in the show, and it's going to really tie into our frontline workers, people that are really keeping the country moving, people like the nurses, the transportation workers, the grocery store clerks, the cashiers, the restaurant workers, the IT people, the pharmacists, and anybody that I've missed. I just want to say thank you again, because this country would not be moving right now were it not for you. The fact that you're sitting here and you can actually go in your kitchen and grab throw some a chicken in the oven is no small thanks to the fact that we have people out there putting it on the line every day to make that possible. So I'm going to say cheers to you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough. Like I say, as most Fridays, I drive through I go get me a cup of coffee. I drove through the McDonald's drive-through this morning, and there they were. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't the money that brought them there. I'm sure that didn't hurt either, but they were doing this out of a sense of duty. And somebody's got to do this. My only problem is that we're not paying these people enough. This is shining a black light on America and the capitalistic system, and how the people that are really keeping the country going, whether it's our educators, our restaurant workers, and so forth, they're not really compensated adequately for the sacrifices they make. And hopefully we'll come out of this, like you say, Candace, even though the word normal now has almost lost its meaning, but it will cause us to refocus and take a second look at some of the people who are doing things that are really just keeping us going. I think about school teachers. Come on, my goodness. I cannot say enough about school teachers. School teachers should be big. They should be the ones making the money that basketball players and rap stars are making. And that's my opinion. I mean, come on.
You know what? I'm a stand in agreement, touch you and stand in agreement with that, because it's generally the workers, the one that's really on the ground and on the front line, that's getting the work done, but is at the least compensated for their job. So, I mean, for what they do, their service. So, just like you, just thanking each and every one of them for being there. So being, in the former in healthcare, which I'm still licensed to work inside of the hospitals as a licensed respiratory therapist. And they call me almost every week to come and go to work, but I'm not licensed in Maryland, in New Jersey. And it was like, can you come and help? Um, Come and help because we need that kind of help. So I just want to thank everybody that's on the front line because this is really, really, really real as to what it is that we have to do. I can't get back to Jersey to go and help, but if I was still in New Jersey, I would. So it's just a matter of like, what can you do to just make things better for us right here where you are? So they're putting their lives on the line and everything. Like, what are we doing? And the fact that we're not compensating them, and not to talk about all these giant companies that got all of these billions of dollars and millions of dollars bailout, and the small businesses didn't get anything. I'm a little ticked off about that. I don't know about you.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that now. And I also want to say good morning to a couple of folks on Facebook who are tuning in. Attorney Bradley Thomas, good morning. School teacher Miss Williams, daycare worker Miss Smith down in Carolina, and thank you guys for tuning in this morning. And a few others, we'll get to you later in the show. Tell you what I'm going to talk about later on, and I'm going to stir up the pot this morning. I'm going to stir up the pot because one of my topics later in the show is going to be: is it time to reopen businesses? Now, this is a controversial topic, but what I'm going to do, I'm not going to take a position. But what I am going to do, I'm going to remove some of the partisanship, some of the racial divide. What I'm going to do is hit this from a supply chain economic standpoint. Let me tell you why. Because at the rate things are going, unless this trajectory is changed, we may be looking at a global food crisis. In places like Kenya, Colombia, India, people are actually saying if it's not corona that we're worrying about, they're saying it is hunger that's going to kill us. Now, we haven't come to that point in the United States yet. We're a long way off. We don't have a food crisis here. But Tyson's Food just closed its second pork plant due to corona infections. That was 3,000 workers killing almost 20,000 hogs a day. And that's going to cause a disruption in the meat supply and a larger disruption in the supply chain. We're talking about independent farmers. We're talking about truckers. We're talking about distributors. We're talking about grocers. We're talking about customers. So what I'm going to do is throw a little fuel on the fire, add a little controversy to the discussion, because this thing almost falls down on partisan and racial lines when people start talking about should we open up businesses. And for just reasons, African Americans understandably are saying, wait a minute, all of a sudden we didn't start hearing about this rush to open stores until the data came out saying that it was disproportionately affecting people of color. Before that, everybody seemed to be fine. But all of a sudden, when it was determined that it's people of color who are bearing the brunt of it, then other people, and like I said, I'm not going to second guess their motives. Maybe they are supply chain economists, but I doubt it. All of a sudden, they're like, hey, let's open this thing back up. Forget this. That's those other folks that are suffering. Don't punish me because somebody else is over here suffering. So, but I'm throwing a little balance on the plate by letting you know that there is indeed a challenge when it comes to supply chain economics.
Yes.
You cannot be closed forever. I don't care what the situation is. At some point, you will have to close. Open up the businesses. Hold on a second. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to continue our discussion. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. I have with me this morning Candace Camille, the wellologist. And when we come back, we're actually going to bring in our special guest, Brendan Lee, the model, she's talking about she's going to add a little positive spin during this Corona crisis on why you should not give up on your dream. This is the Marketing Pulpit. We'll be right back after the break. All right. Thank you. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. I have my co-host with me, the outstanding and amazing Candace Camille. She's the wellologist, and she joins us on the fourth Friday of every month. And just proud to have her as part of the Marketing Pulpit family. One thing I like about Candace, she understands how the system works. She promotes the show. She shares it with her audience. She brings people under the tent. And because one, she understands the power of marketing and branding, and also she shares the mission and goals and aims of the Marketing Pulpit radio show, which is to help our community. Really, that's what it's about. Let me tell you something, folks. There's a lot of things I could be doing this morning. I'm not getting paid to sit here. I'm doing this out of sense of duty, just like Candace and my other co-hosts. And so I want to give you a thank you, Candace, for all you do and everything you bring to the show. And just know that you are surely and greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Honored to be here, Robert.
Now, also, we were talking about, I'm going to get into my sermon later in the show. We're talking about this larger issue of should businesses should they reopen, and how this has fallen down on partisan, racial, and a few other lines that really should have no bearing on the discussion. But as in this country, as most things, way things always seem to happen, it's always become a issue of the right, the left, Democrat, Republican, red, blue, black, white, brown, and whatever.
Robert, can I ask you a question on it? Because I just want to jump in, and I know you're going to come back on it later, but I just want all our listeners to ponder on this question when you're talking about when all the data came out and the statistics came out as to say who this virus was affecting the most, being the African American. So the question I have for the powers that be, that if those statistics did not come out stating that it affected us the most, that we're, because of our underlying conditions or whatever the case may be, will it be to the fact, will they even consider right now with what's going on to reopen? I know at some point we do have to reopen, but if it wasn't for those statistics that came out and who this thing was affecting, would they be making a decision to reopen all of these businesses right now when we're not sure exactly how this virus is still mutating or anything that is doing, where we're still, our lives are going to be saved? Or they're saying to hell with it, since it's this group of people, it ain't affecting us, let's just go on and open it up and kill them all, because that's what's going to happen to us. So I'm taking a side here. See, because you're pretty much saying that, you don't care about us. It ain't no big deal. But then for the things that you're opening up right now, my son sent me a picture from Atlanta yesterday, and they opened up nail salons and all this kind of stuff down there. And guess who was in the line? We are the ones in the line waiting for hours to get inside of there to do some things. So it's some work we got to do on our own side if we want to get the respect and gain what we have to do from there. I was appalled by these pictures.
Well, let's check this story out, Candace. And down in Atlanta, there's a young lady named Angie Bowman. She has a hair salon. And of course, in the state of Georgia, they're about to reopen.
Yes.
And she's saying that her books are packed. She is fully booked this weekend for her hair salon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to guess her persuasion, but I'm just going to make some assumptions here. Then a young lady named Shonda King, she has a hair salon called Gifted Creations. And she is saying she will not be reopening. She said she's not going to put her life on the line to style people's hair. Now, this is the precarious position that African Americans and people of color find themselves in. One, we are the most at risk, and we're behind the ball when it comes to economic prosperity. So it's like it's a double whammy we're having to deal with. Now, in a system of justice, which seems to be elusive in this country, one of my clients is an author named Neely Fuller. And I quote him quite often because his famous quote is that in a system of justice, help goes to those who need it the most. Think about it. In a system of justice, help goes to those who need it the most. So if I were to wave my magic wand, I would say, look, okay, we understand that a certain population is more at risk. Let's put more resources into that population. One, if they have to be the ones on the front line, making sure that we have food on the table, let's put something in that stimulus package to increase their pay. Let's put something in this package to make it more safe for them to go to work. Let's put something in that package to give them some type of health insurance in a system of justice.
Yes.
Don't let me start preaching this morning.
Listen, I'm getting ready to get a word like say that. Come on through. Simply because you're talking about long term right now. We're not talking about a one and done. You know, so right now I'm giving you $1,200, $2,200, and not to say that's not a help because it's a help right now. But what about tomorrow? What about when we reopen and doing the things that we have to do? You're saying the only way to beat this disease is social distancing. How you gonna be social distancing all up in my hair? How you gonna be social distancing all up in my nails? Like, how is it going to be possible? How do you save your life and protect your life and still make some money to take care of your family?
Candace, I tell you what, I'm going to bring in my guest because she might want to throw a few jabs in here. I know she wants to talk about dreams, but this thing is so hot and juicy. I'm sure she's over there. Hey, let me in. I want to. So without further ado, we're going to continue this discussion, but I did want to bring in my special guest today, Brynn Lee, the model. She's been a fun phenom over the internet. I've seen her on Instagram, Facebook. She's out here on runway. She's on TV shows. She's in Hallmark movies, and I'm just glad to have her as our special guest today. Welcome to the show, Brynn Lee, the model.
Hello, Robert. Yes. How are you?
We're doing good.
What's going on?
You hear us talking all this trash over here this morning, and I saw you like I want to get in there. I saw you throwing like boxing at the shadow.
I heard her.
Well, let me ask you this. I just want to ask you a couple of quick questions. Now, how is this? First of all, won't you introduce yourself to the audience? Let everybody know who you are, please.
Well, I am Brynn Lee, the model, but my name is Brynette Richardson, and I am a model. And y'all are talking about this thing. My daughter is a doctor there in Indianapolis.
Okay.
But the funny thing about that, the doctors and the nurses are also getting this, but they are equipped with masks, the gloves, double glove, the shield for the eyes, but they still getting it. So like me and her was talking, it's not about all of this that you're wearing. It's about our hand washing. Our hand washing, not touching our face, doing all of this stuff, because your mask, if you know, your ears, your nose, and your mouth is all connected to the same thing. So you're covering your mouth and your nose, but your eyes and your ears are still open. So the disease stayed on a surface for hours, and it is killed by heat. Okay. So you got to destroy it. But if you're washing your hands and keeping your hands from your face, and your diet, the key is having an immune system to fight this. And if you don't have that, if you have this underlying disease that you are dealing with anyway, you're more perceptive to get this. So I'm saying people are panicking for all of this. The number one thing, they need to get their health in order. Make sure they're trying to do something to improve so they can fight it. This is like any other disease that you got, your flu.
Hey, Brenda, let me ask you this. Is that why I see you planking also? Are you trying to fight?
Yeah.
I try to.
I see you on there planking. I see you on there. You be planking all over the place. Like you and
Planking should always be a part of your healthcare plan. Let me just interject here. Planking should always be a part of your healthcare plan. But just to go to what Brenda's talking about, let's just be very, very clear that there is no pill, there is no food or anything that you can take that you can do that's going to ward off coronavirus. Let's just be very clear and have that disclaimer. Vitamin C, folic acid, none of that stuff is going to keep you from getting coronavirus. So what Brenda's talking about is that we have to just take our part and do our part, making sure that our body stays strong. And that is starting with the inside of you, with your immune system. And I'm going to talk about some of those things early on, because those are some of the things that head it off. Because right now, even talking to all of our friends, Brenda, as well in the healthcare field, is that they are not even wearing gloves right now. It's a matter of just washing your hands. It's washing your hands. I can't say it enough. It's washing your hands. So you got healthcare workers just saying, the gloves is not the thing that's doing, because you're still contaminating stuff. But the thing is about it, each and everything that you touch, each and everything that you do, you just want to wash your hands and do all of that other stuff in the meantime, because Brenda says her daughters are doctors and they all PPE'd up. Their personal protective equipment is all up and they're still getting sick. So if you're still getting sick and you have all this stuff that they say it has to be, what is it that we're touching? And that's with our hands. So that was a very, very good point. Listen, vitamin C is not going to kill corona, just so y'all know. It's going to help you increase your immune system with a whole lot of other stuff, but there's some things that you have to do across the board. You have to do it across the board. And Brenda, I see you planking all over the place, so I have to give it to you. She'll be on the wash machine, on the chair.
She out in the yard and on top of the car, and on top of a bus going down the street. And
I ain't been the bus yet, Robert.
Oh, you haven't done that. Okay.
Don't give her no ideas right there, Rob.
I'm saying.
I know.
Check her out later on. Check her out later on. She'll be on top of that bus going down the street. Hey, Brenda, let me ask you this. Now, besides being a model and like I say, you are. What else do you do? You also like working with kids. Is that also that to me what really caught my attention about you? You actually work with kids.
Yes, I do. I am a teacher assistant. I work for the Cabarrus County School System, and I also work for Prodigal Son Foundation. And I love children. I love giving back to them, because to me that they are our future. So I can relate to them. I enjoy being with them. I enjoy helping them. I enjoy letting them know that they have a dream. Don't give up on it, because they are around peers. Pressure.
Let me ask you this. Now you work with the kids now, but at some point along the way, and like I said, you had a career well before you decided to become a model. Well, at what point? I'm trying to figure this out. At what point did you decide that you want to become a model, or was this something you were when you were a baby dog, when you were a kid, you claiming model baby dog? I mean, that's a pretty big jump going from working with kids to becoming a model. Help us with that journey.
Well, the journey is, I always wanted to be a model in high school.
Oh, okay.
In high school, I wanted to be a model, but like my testimony is, God give you a dream, what you should do. And that was what I was given, to be a model. But like I said, the peer pressure that you come and people discouraging you, oh, you can't do this. You can't do that. But see, that's what I try to teach the kids today. Show me your friend, I'll show you your future. Because if you listen to friends that got the negativity to tell you to do something, then they will make you miss your dream. And I listened to them, so I didn't become then. But when my children got at an age that I could do it, I'm like, okay, the doors start opening for me naturally. So I walked in it, and to my dream, to do what I always wanted to do. And the doors have been open that the Lord has opened for me. And I only been doing this over a year, and the doors have been open. I have been in 10 movies. I have been not 10 movies, 10 walkways, 4 movies, and I am invited out to California to be on a show. So the Lord opened doors, and that's why I said never give up on your dream. You're gonna get some no's sometime, but don't let that stop you. You keep going, but the no's gonna turn into yeses. So
well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Did you ever think about giving up when you start getting those no's?
No, that's the point. You got to have that mentality to say, you get on the sidetrack and say, okay, is this for me? Because I do get no's sometimes, but I realize this is the dream. So I'm going to continue pushing forward. And those no's going to turn into yeses. That's why you can't give up, because you may have to change your strategy on some things, but don't let the no's stop you from achieving what you always want to do.
So Robert, let me ask a question, because I love it when she said the no's. So in business, they always say it's the same thing when we're in the selling process. It's like, so you got to hurry up and get your no's out of the way. So right. How many no's do, you got to hurry up and get your no's out of the way. So how many no's do you have to get to before you know that it's going to be yeses? See, I think in business, Robert, what is it, 10 no's?
It's like 9, 10 times, yeah.
You got to get 10 no's out there. It's like, go to the first 10 people and like, please tell me no so I can move on with my dream. Once you get this out of the way, so that is very good. So it does work.
Well, let me ask you this, Brinley. Now, how has the pandemic affected your profession? I mean, obviously they're not having these big fashion shows, and I mean, what if is everybody in like a holding pattern? Is there something you're doing now that's going to tide you over? It's affecting everybody in different ways. How's it affecting people in your profession in general?
Well, a lot of things for me have been pushed back, like my show in Dallas, the expo I was supposed to go, is pushed back to July. But in like the fashion shows, they have been pushed back. Everything's been pushed back, but they are coming with things that you can do the runway online. I auditioned online for runway, and they are bringing that back, so you can audition still online. They are setting up that stuff. Yes.
Pretty cool.
To walk online, so they are still doing things like that. But I'm also getting more of photographers reaching out to me to do shoots. And that is one of the things too, which I don't have to pay for. And that's yay.
Okay, good. You get a lot of freebies, huh?
Yeah, so it is a lot of other things that you can do with this. You still got to research and see what's out there, the industry that is still doing stuff online. That's what I'm doing, because now I just did one for Tyler Perry, a runway audition. So it's still out there, this condition, even though this virus is called hectic and everything, but they're still trying to keep it going.
Let me ask you this. Now, you said you've only been doing this less than a year or so. So what do you say to people who say that it's too late? I've lived my life, my kids are grown, it's their turn now, and your time is past. What do you say to those people?
No, they got the wrong mind of thinking, because it's never too late. When it's too late is when you're not here. So your purpose and your goal is still there. You just got to have the willpower to go out and achieve it. So if I can start at a later age to get it done, you can always do it. Never give up on your dream. Never.
I love that. Well, let me ask you this. Now, do you have any shows coming up on your calendar right now? You've been busy out there. Anything coming up the pike?
Yeah, well, the one in July, then I have some in June. Yes, I still have the TV show. I have a fashion show, and a runway show. So I still have something coming up. So
you're a busy young lady. Now, if somebody want to find you and follow you, and I'm sure there are many people out there that are tuning in and want to follow you, how can they follow you now? they want to find out about your upcoming shows and what Bryn Lee is doing in her world, and catch you planking on top of refrigerators and
the
metro
washing
buses.
machine, articles, and I plank everywhere. I was like, okay, I got a contender in the house. Right?
I be, hey, look, I log into my Instagram, my Facebook. I said, let's see who's going to be out planking, who's going to be on top of an Empire State Building. Now, I've seen Candace planking out in front of Buckingham Palace. I'm like, oh my God, what? I want to join the race. Daggone, I'm going to start planking on top of stuff. Let me find something.
Come on, man. Who wants to join in on us?
Well, I am planking on top of my car today before I leave. Daggone it.
All right, did y'all catch that? So everybody that's listening, like, I always pick up something, I picked up that Brenda said, listen, it's never too late, follow your dreams. And I just picked up that Robert just said he gonna plank on top of his car. So I need everybody to remind him that we need a picture. We need proof of a picture that, Robert. 1,000 words.
The only reason I might not, look at me moonwalking over here. The only reason I might not, because there's a lot of pollen out there, and the pollen gets on top of your car, and you get pollen.
Confabulation. He is confabulating right now. All kind of excuses.
Candace. If you get pollen in you now, you start sneezing, people gonna think you have corona.
Listen, you're supposed to have a mask on anyway. Put your mask on.
Got me coming and going. All right, I gotta go out here and plank on top. All right, I'll get my camera and go out and get my planking going on. Hey, did I finish the question? Brandley, how can people follow you? They want to catch you planking and finding your runways and appearance. How can they do that?
I am on Twitter. I am on Instagram, Brynlee the model, and I'm also on Instagram as iBrand Cosin. And you can follow me also on Snapchat up there too, and Facebook. I'm there, so you can reach out to me and at my email address, BrynCosinRichardson@gmail.com.
Also, tell them about your website. You also have a website.
Yeah, I have a website that Mr. Gatewood did for me, and it's BrynLeeTheModel.com. BrynLeeTheModel.com.
Right.
Yes, I put everything that I do usually on my website.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the plug. We've done a lot of Brynlee and just one of the many people we have actually helped get online. And particularly during this crisis, we've helped a lot of people get out there who've been challenged by meeting face-to-face. We're working on a telemedicine website for one of our clients, stress management. We're just coming to a close on one of our good attorneys, Bradley Law Group, putting their forms and their payment systems online, and just contacted yesterday about another firm who are trying to get themselves online. So I'm just proud and thankful, and which also it's going to bring me back to this topic. And Bryn, feel free to stick around if you can, because I want to hear your voice on this too. On this question about, do we reopen? So hang on there, Candace. And by the way, Candace, also I want to get a tip out of you before we go to break. Give us a good body brand bank tip. That's why we have the wellologists around, because there's a lot of people stuck in these houses right now. You're stuck at home. You're sitting there eating everything that's not tied down. Some of you all won't be able to get through your doors by the time the pandemic is over. I saw a meme the other day where somebody had they had the mask around their mouth, and they say, "Oh, you trying to fight corona?" They said, "No, I'm fighting my refrigerator." So you can't.
You know what, Robert? And that's good. So for me, of course, I'm CEO of Candace Camille Enterprises. And I'm founder of Plank Talk Nation and Sexy Fit and Well, a brand where I literally teach women to become sexy, fit, and well through mindset, meals, and movement with results they can see in their body but feel in their soul. So even as I'm working with my clients, especially right now, we all have to sort of pivot and turn another way to get things done. And before, we're home 24 hours a day, and it's like we don't have a lot of movement and things in. And we're trying to figure out. So what I wanted to talk about today is talk about your feelings, how you're feeling, and then when you're talking about your food, you're talking about your feelings, your fear, and your food, right? Okay. So generally what you're feeling is based on your fear, and your fear take you into what you're eating. So, one of the things about it, there's a correlation in what you're eating and why you're feeling the way that you feel and why you can't move. We don't realize that the foods that we're eating is making us depressed and it's stopping us from moving. So there is a correlation between all of that. So let me just give you, there's a list, and you can get the whole list from me later. But right now, one of the things I do, in doing it in one of my groups, the Be Fit 90 group, we just talk about foods, the foods that you should be eating and the foods that you should not, because these are the ones that's going to cause you to feel a certain way and just have you sitting on the couch, becoming a couch potato and get nothing done. So nothing at all. You're going to go in being 100 pounds and you're going to come out being 200. So quickly, 5 foods you should not be eating right now because it affects your mentality. It affects your anxiety. It affects your depression. That's sodas. That's diet soda. That's number 1. Number 2 is ketchup. Who knew? Ketchup. So you should not be eating any ketchup on your face. Another one of these energy drinks.
Ketchup is not good for you.
The energy drinks that we think that we're getting energy from. Huh?
Ketchup?
Yes.
Ketchup. No ketchup. It's nothing but liquid salt. It's ketchup. It affects you. You retain water. All kinds of stuff. So again, like I said, I have a list of 5
I gotta go lay down on that.
No French fries, no French fries. So that's my 5 over there. I have a whole list. If you want to know the list, join me in the Be Fit 90 group and I will give you that list. But on the other side, when you're talking about what you can eat to make you feel good, because there's some things that you can eat that really makes you want to move. So when you want to change your feelings and just put your fear to the side, see, because your fear, and I'm jumping into my, emotional intelligence hat here. So I'm an emotional certified mastery coach. So when you're jumping into your fears, which is false evidence appearing real. So right now we can use that because your fear is the story you're telling yourself. But when you're eating these crazy foods, your fear and your story just get whacked. So you really have to just say, you know what? I want to be better. So to get better, the things that you have to eat. And one of the things I want to tell you beyond the salmon and the mushrooms and, in the grapes and the berries and the almonds, there's one thing that you can eat that will change your mood instantly, and that's cashews. According to stats, and these are statistics that simply says that you eat a handful of 2 of cashews is like taking Prozac, right? Because of what's on the inside of it. And cashews contain tryptophan, right? So when you have that, that's just the happy hormone, right? So if you want to do something, you want to change your mood, and instead of going to buy potato chips and sodas, go buy yourself some cashews, put it in your mouth, take a handful, get happy,
on it, right?
Put up and move.
That's the key, the quantity. That's the key, the quantity of what you eat and what you put in your body is what your body becomes. So you have to watch what you eat. That is the key thing what you're saying, Candace, because that's what I watch to say, stay in shape like I am to be able to do what I do. Because what you're eating for, to live or to eat to live, which one?
Hey, let me ask you this, Candace. What if I put ketchup on the cashews? Do they kind of like cancel each other out?
Okay, here he come with these confabulations, right? You can't mix the good with the bad and think you're going to get some good. It just don't work like that. It's almost as what anything that got a negative effect in it, it's going to give you a negative outcome. So you don't want to put the negative with the positive. You're just wasting good stuff.
I'm trying. Okay, I tried. Ketchup, I love me. I put ketchup on everything. I put ketchup on eggs, fries, fish.
Stop it.
Hey, you know what? This may have come from my upbringing. Now, there was 14 of us in the family, and ketchup made a good sandwich, boy. A good old ketchup sandwich.
But no, you got to talk about the mayonnaise sandwiches, right?
So boy.
We did mayonnaise, and sometimes we even mix it together. So, but at the end of the day, Robert, right? But that's back then. That's your mama stuff. That's what your mama and your daddy had to do. You don't have to do that now, right? It was good back then. But it ain't good right now.
If this supply chain we're going to talk about later on, we might have to dig that ketchup bottle back out. Hey, was that a segue for you?
That was, we ain't pulling back out the ketchup sandwich.
Hey, Nathan Davis said, Nathan said this ketchup sandwich, took it back. Right on, Nathan's with me. Come on, Nathan.
How about mustard? How about mustard?
You know, I don't think I ever did a mustard sandwich, but I remember doing the ketchup and the mayonnaise. And listen, Allerger syrup, that was the other one, right? We had some syrup sandwiches and we had some mayonnaise sandwiches back then with some good old Wonder Bread.
Bread.
No, I heard the mustard was better for you.
That's why, because it tastes like crap. That's why. Who wants to eat a mustard sandwich? Man, good. At least the ketchup got a little sugar in it. It better be good for you. Something tastes that bad. Hey, that's an old. I worked in the diet food industry for many years. I spent cut most of my teeth in the diet food industry. We had a simple saying: if it tastes good, spit it out. That's the way you keep your back. You're gonna keep your body right. If it tastes good, spit it out.
No, I disagree. I totally disagree with you, Robert. I
know you're right. You're right. But for Candace, wrap it up for us. So you got your 5, and how can somebody find these? You got them. How can, if somebody want to reach out to you and get this information from you? Did you get all 5 on your 5 and 5?
You got your 5 and 5. You know what? And I'll give those to you when you do it, when you're talking about some of the things that you shouldn't eat and should eat. But you can always follow me. This information will be over on the Candace Camille Wellologist page. Like it while you're over there. You can also follow me on all platforms at the Wellologist. I am across the board at the Wellologist on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and also on Facebook, Candace Camille. Or follow me, join Plank Talk Nation. You can go to my website, CandaceCamille.com. Download the free smoothie ebook there and join into our wellness revolution. And that's what it is. You can also, catch me at the Wellologist at gmail.com. If you have any questions, please follow me. Follow me in Plank Talk Nation, right? Follow me as we build the world with minds, meals, and movement. I am Candace Camille, a Wellologist. Come on, y'all, join this wellness revolution. That's what it is.
Y'all heard it right here. We're going to take a quick break, and ladies, by all means, feel free to stick around. We're going to talk about this. Should you reopen your business? Now, I got my own formula here. So all you governors out there, Trump, instead of telling people to drink Lysol and you should, I'm going to give you my real formula based on, I'm taking the emotion out of it, and I'm going to lay out 4 different categories and how we can get people safely. But at the same time, let's not do irreparable damage to our supply chain, as we're starting to see happening in places like Kenya and Colombia and India. So what I want you to do is to hang on for a second. We're going to come back and we're going to get into this, a deeper part of this discussion about whether or not we should open up. All right. Folks, you're listening to the Marketing Pulpit Radio Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. We're every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls. We're saving businesses. We're saving jobs. We're saving our community. We're celebrating 10 years of being on the air. And we have migrated over the years. We started out as a half-hour show over at Radio 1. We blossomed into a 1-hour show on Radio 1. And then we added the Facebook element. We added the YouTube element. We added the Periscope TV element. And so we are now a radio and TV show. We are Marketing Pulpit International because we are broadcasting. We have guests and listeners from all over the world, including Kenya, which was one of our topics today, also in Nigeria, and all over the place. We are Marketing Pulpit International. That's what MPI stands for. And you can go to marketingpulpit.com to find out more about what we are doing. You can find out more about our show, about our guests, and our sponsors, and also support our sponsors like BLE Executive Suite. They have been really with us since day one, and they have been they have their 3 locations over in one in Largo, one in National Harbor, and one in College Park. Call them at 301-322-1700. Also, our good sponsor, 98.6, the band that was headed up by Willie Jolly and Bradley Thomas and a group of guys. They become one of our most recent sponsors, and you've seen their ads. Go to their website and find out more about them, and all that information is going to be on the Marketing Pulpit website. And we've been running their ads also. If you want to advertise your company, your organization, you're trying to get the word out there, because I did a quickly, if people asking me, should you advertise during the pandemic? Well, I'm going to go back to the advertising and marketing book. There are two types of advertising. I've always said this. There's the direct action advertising that people see. That's the hard, hit you hard, strong call to action. And then there's a second type of advertising called indirect or communication. During times like this, and out of sensitivity, and because you don't really have to sell as hard, people are going to buy it or not during this time. So you want to do it at this time is focus more on the indirect and communication type of advertising, such as coming on radio shows and talk shows and blogging and doing your social media posts and workshops online and things like that. This is a great time for communication, indirect advertising. So yes, you should advertise during the pandemic, because this pandemic will pass, and you want to keep your name in front of people. And so yes, that's the answer to that question. But a bigger question today, as that's been on everybody's mind, is should businesses reopen? People actually protesting. They're riding around with trucks and threatening the governors. The poor lady down in Atlanta, she's been getting death threats. And this issue has it's really starting to tear at the fabric of the country. And unfortunately, like most things, it started to fall along these partisan and racial lines. And you would think we can get through a pandemic or a crisis and it would bring people together. But somehow information got out that this pandemic was disproportionately affecting people of color. Now, it could have been just coincidental timing that right after this announcement and this data started to become available, all of a sudden you start hearing this chorus, let's open up the government. Remember Arsenio Hall, he used to say things that make you go, If there was an ever classic case of things that make you go, We say that the virus is killing more Black people. Almost the next day, even before the day is out, all of a sudden we hear these cries to let's open up the government. Let's open up the businesses. Now, what I'm trying to do, as I do as a business developer, because I'm telling you folks, I'm probably closer to this than many people. My job is to develop businesses. My job is to keep businesses open, which almost runs anathema to the fact that we want to stay closed. For whatever reason, my job is to make businesses work, make them stay open. I don't mean just doing coronavirus, I mean in general. So when I hear this conversation and this debate, I take a more nuanced view. I try to remove the emotion and try to make the assumption, and I know, Lord have mercy, I can't, it's wrong sometimes, make the assumption that people are not doing this for nefarious or political or personal gain by exploiting this virus. But we know that is not always the case. But in spite of that, yes, please.
On the business open, I think if they do open, it should be with limitation of what they can do and what they have to do. Like the beautician, if you're gonna service them, they have to come in with their masks and stuff, because the beautician, they're gonna be over them. So I think it should be, if they do, is just limiting how many come in the shop. You can't work with but so many being in the shop, and let them open that way. But like now, we are able to go to the grocery stores. We still come in contact with people.
You're ready to say this.
With our medicine, we still come in contact with people. So I'm gonna always say is how most of they getting to us is because we have a lot of underlying disease in us. We don't take care of our body. And we are very protected of getting this because of that. So we just have to take more precaution in trying to do better with our health wise. They need to log on to Candace and follow her and do things that she's doing and try to take care of your body. So, but open this business is just take precaution when you are out there. Don't, because people got to live. We got to live.
Well, you know what? The same precautions that we have already been taken, we have to continue. But at the end of the day, Brenda, you made a great point when you say, so for all of us that's opening up, the same thing like we go in the grocery store, and I was going to make the same point, and we're in there, and we're more than 10 people in the store at a clip. I haven't been in the store yet, except for maybe moms. You know, that I've been in a store yet, then there's only been about 10 people, because as a matter of fact, it's more than 10 employees. So it's almost basically impossible to just say that social distancing has to be around 10. But you said it best, that even when you talk about the things that you have to do, is you're talking about prevention, precautions, and your process that you're going to do in order to get this done, even for the hair salons opening up. But my question to you, Robert, is this. Is it cost effective to stay inside of those precautionary guidelines when we're talking about bringing a one person in to do your hair? Because at the end of the day, if you have a hair salon and you're not the only sole proprietor or barber that's in there, and you have 10 barbers around you, and that's how you ran your business, but now you can only bring 1 or 2 people in the shop at one time, every hour, every 2 hours. You know, for a barber, they hit it like this. For us in our hair, I'm under the dryer for 3 hours. How do you continue? How do you continue to make your money and hit your overhead, taking the type of precautions that we must take to still head off Corona?
All right. You ladies have done a perfect setup for me, because what I've done here, because first of all, let's keep this in mind. We do not want to become what's happening in Kenya, in Colombia, in India, where the supply chain is being disrupted. We've seen the first chink in the armor with the closing of Tyson's Food. 20,000 hogs that were being slaughtered now are no longer being slaughtered. Trucks that were carrying that food to the stores, distributors, grocers. How long before that starts to affect us? So when we start talking about, we don't want to be absolutists and say, it's a calculation, like anything else, like Brenda said. Well, suddenly, for some reason, it's okay to go to the grocery store. So that proves that we do make these calculations about what should be open and what shouldn't. So I put the businesses in 4 categories. So bear with me as I put on my preaching robe here this morning. I put these in 4 categories. It reminds me of cause here's a truism. The longer customers learn to survive without your service, the less likely they're going to return when things return to normal.
Good point.
You don't want people to get so used to not coming to you that they start seeking alternatives. Reminds me of my gas station, my favorite place I used to stop and get my coffee in the morning. And they closed up for 2 months for renovation. Man, when they reopened, they had the lights, they had the fancy pumps. But one thing they didn't have customers. Yeah. It's because people had moved, they had found alternatives. I discovered 7-Eleven. I never went to 7-Eleven for coffee. All of a sudden, they have an app. Every 5th coffee is free. I'm like, I haven't been back to my place ever since. I went one time, and it just wasn't the same. So keep that in mind. And like I said, this is not pushing pro against. I'm just saying some realities on it. So the 4 categories we're going to look at. The first one is the high-risk, non-essential. I think it's been pretty universally accepted that those places are closed and should probably stay closed for a good period of time. We're talking about, unfortunately, you're talking about hair salons, gyms, nightclubs, sports, entertainment, and so forth. There is no debate about that. High risk, non-essential, that's a problem.
So then wait, is the gym non-essential? I'm gonna need them to open the gyms back up. It's like a catch-22 there.
I know. Bear with me, Kat. I know I'm feeling your pain. I'm not making the rules. I'm just reading them. Okay. Now, the second group is on the opposite end of the tunnel. Low risk, essential. That means the risk is minimal, but it's very essential. Into that category, we find people like your IT people, your attorneys, your accountants, your therapists. They are essential people And by doing business with them, your chance of getting the virus is very low. Now, I also have a strategy for each one of these groups. In the first high-risk group, of course, you have to add new virtual services and offer discounts for people who prepay for services if you are in one of those groups. If you're in that second group, the low-risk essential, then of course you want to expand your online capabilities and increase your payment channels. Let's go to the third group. High-risk essential. Now we're talking about the grocery store. We're talking about the restaurants. We're talking about the transportation people. We're talking about the healthcare. Somehow we found a way to let these businesses stay open. And tell you what else happened, ladies and gentlemen. There was a calculation that takes place, either by hook crook, either by personal decision, either by government interference, but somebody, including you and I, we made a decision that it is so important to eat. It is so important to get our health. It is so important to get from point A to point B that we are willing to take the risk to patronize those companies. High risk essential. Now, the strategy for that, of course, is to expand your distribution channels. That means delivery. That means drive-through. That means telemedicine. That means increasing your staff. That means increasing your pay. I talked about earlier, if we live in a perfect world, we would be paying these people more. We'd be taking greater steps to protect them. And if you're in that industry, that's my own personal suggestion for you. Start paying these people more money. Start giving them more protective gear. Bring in more people. Now, here's the fourth group where we actually have to start having the debate. And this is where we need to put politics aside. We need to start talking about supply chain, and we start looking at that first statement that I made about the longer people learn to live without your service or get used to it, the less likely they are going to return. Now, I'm in a fortunate category where business has not been negatively impacted at all. As a matter of fact, my business has increased during the pandemic. I'm not proud of it. It's not something I want to brag about, but I'm making a point that this thing does not affect everybody equally. But I've had people contact me and they say, Robert, what am I supposed to do? Now I'm in the catbird seat because I probably talk to more businesses in a week than the average person. As a matter of fact, I know I do. And I'm hearing from every angle on this spectrum. The high risk, non-essential, the low risk essential, and the high risk essential. But there's this fourth group I'm going to tackle very quickly. Low risk, non-essential. Now, Governor Hogan in the state of Maryland, he sent a very elaborate and detailed list of what constitutes an essential business and what's a non-essential. If you are not on that list as an essential business, you were basically given a mandate not to open up your shop. Now, what he didn't give you is a paycheck. What he didn't give you is a loan. What he didn't give you is a roadmap on how you're supposed to survive during this time. You were pretty much thrown to the wolves. Now, thank goodness, Congress and the president acted very quickly and approved a stimulus package. Many people got $1,200 checks. Some got $500. Some got a prorated amount. I say amen. But if you are running a business and you're paying yourself $1,200 a week or $1,000 a week or even $500 a week, how long is $1,200 going to last you? About a week.
About a week.
Now what you're supposed to do? Now, which brings me up that's why I'm tackling this topic today. And I know it's controversial. I know there's racism. I know there's sexism. There's all kinds of isms that cast a lens over this discussion. I'm trying to add some objectivity to the discussion. There are some low-risk, non-essential businesses who are really kind of caught in the divide. They have nowhere to go. We're talking about small boutiques. We're talking about people that do one-on-one, face-to-face service. We're talking about people that actually conduct their businesses outside for the most part. People like photographers, people that really, if they took the proper steps, they could really open up tomorrow and not run afoul of the law or social distancing and other types of guidelines to protect your safety. I'm not saying one way or the other. What I'm just trying to do, ladies and gentlemen, is that as a business developer and as someone who comes in contact with businesses every day, we need to have this discussion about when are these people who are caught in the middle, what can we do? I think this is what I said it earlier. I said in the beginning, in a system of justice, help goes to those who need it the most. All this money, they're giving $10 million checks to companies that are giving it back. They're giving millions of dollars to Harvard University, who has a $40 billion endowment fund. We should be redirecting that money to these companies who are low risk, non-essential, and helping these companies get ready to get back online so they can have some type of livelihood.
And you know what, Robert? And those are the loans that they turn down. Even when you're talking about the small businesses that you're exactly talking about that apply for them loans, if some of us even got answers for them, but most of them were rejection letters that didn't give it. So now you have all of these big companies like Shake Shack, and it's a few other ones that's giving back the millions and the billions of dollars simply because it's now become controversial. So my question to you is that, are they going to take these money that you're talking about, those non-essentials that's there, that's low risk, that's one-on-one? I happen to be one of them, you know, in a sense where you can't work with one-on-one clients and you can't work with one-on-few, you know, that you're doing in your personal space in a gym, rather it be outside or rather be right here on my red couch. It's like we're no longer able to do that in accordance of the law. So at some point, they're saying that you can't do this. So do we shut down? Like my son talked about in Florida, he said it's almost like a desert town. Like there people, more people are becoming homeless, even though they said they can't throw you out. So it's causing this ripple effect, this domino effect that, okay, how are we going to live? So even if you think about what's that, 1929 depression, you know, back there, that we're in it, and yes, some great things come out of it. But what are some of the things, Robert, that they did back then, because they made it out of there and they did okay, that we can do now so we can be okay when it comes to just basic living essentials as we move forward? Like you said, $1,200 is going to last us, you know, a week, and actually it's not going to pay your mortgage or your rent. So at the end of the day, like, what is it that you do now that you got your stimulus? There's no more money coming in. And they say to you, you can't go back and do your one-on-ones or your one-on-minis or, you know, the massage, the therapist, the coaches or whatever. What do you do?
Well, once again, and I'm going to say this highlights the necessity of having an informed, intelligent, forward-thinking people leading our country. I mean, that's more of a long-term approach, but we got to get some people in this government that can think, that know what the heck they're doing, first of all. Also, and here's an issue I started pushing this about a month ago, and I'm going to turn up the heat. We as a community, we've got to support each other. That non-essential group, I'm not saying go out here and open up tomorrow, but I'm saying what I've been doing, and I'm going to do more of that. I'm going to prepay for my services to anybody that I'm looking at in that group. And I'm no Robert Johnson. I'm Robert, my last name not Johnson, so I'm not the billionaire. I'm Robert Gatewood.
Listen, Robert prepaid me, so thank you, but I'm coming to render my services. So when this is all said and done, I'm coming to render my services.
That's what I'm saying. I don't mind prepaying somebody like Candace. I prepaid the graphic designer. I prepaid a couple of other folks. And no, I'm not rich, but I know, like I said, I'm in an industry that's doing okay.
Yeah.
We as a community,
Robert, not just prepaying, but reaching out and just giving like a love gift to them. Yes. That's what I like to do, because I support some organization. I give maybe monthly, but I'm trying to just see, like the hairdresser I go to, reach out and give her something and just donate it to it, and don't expect anything in return, because that's what kind of heart I have to do to people. that's going through. If you can do that, just reach out and give it to them, because you know they're closed down and they can't.
You know, and that's what we need to do even inside of our small businesses, is what Robert do, the love
Yes.
gift, free pay for service. But you know, even right now, we need to go back to our own Black Wall Street and start keeping the money within. You know, and we're talking about the things that we need to do. We really need to be supporting, you know, because like I do the same thing. I've bought from people for all the love gifts that I have for the people that's on furlough. I put them into my fitness group, because if you're not outside or whatever, I was like, you know, I got some love money, so I'm going to send it, put you over here, and that's my gift to you, to come on in here and work out with us on Robert, you know, or on Kim, for all the ones that send me. So we have to start supporting each other. We're going to buy anyway. So how do we keep, you know, one of the things, I know that's the question I asked, but the way that we keep this thing going is that to support each other. So for all of those Black folks I see standing in line, and I have nothing against any other ethnic group or anything, but I'm gonna say, find you some Black nail salons, and find you some people, you know, that's in us, in our own community. And it's not prejudice, because everybody that do it, I've learned this from a Jewish guy. Listen, keep your money inside. So we need to really be love offering, or you know, love gifts, or paying forward for services, or just supporting each other right now. What is it that you need, that somebody that's in your circle that you can support?
I'm going to say this because many people have said they don't know anybody who got the PPE or whatever, the different money that came from the stimulus package for small businesses. I did get a $1,000 credit in my business account. I applied early, and I had filed my taxes on time. So there are some check boxes. I'm not sure how I was able to get in when so many other people didn't. But I do know for a fact our second Friday co-host, Falasha Day, she has always emphasized the importance of making sure we keep our taxes, our book rate. And I know for a fact that one of the short list of people that got their money first and soonest was the ones who had filed their taxes. And if you had filed it electronically, then of course your name went to the top of the list.
Yes.
I applied for more than I thought I was gonna get 10,000, but like I say, I got 1,000, and I don't know which one of the grants it was. It was very vague. There was no phone call. There was no follow up and say this is what program you're qualified for. So yes, some people did get some money. So if anybody said, do you know anybody who got a check? I did get it.
Now I know too.
But definitely not enough.
Yeah.
And also, folks, this is something I'm not going to try to take Falasha Day's thunder, but we do have to do better with keeping our books straight and making sure that we're following the guidelines. Because when you live in this system, you got to play by the rules, because eventually those rules are going to be used to either hurt you or help you. So, so also, like I say, once again, I'm going to reemphasize. Yes, businesses as a community, we are at a heightened risk when it comes to economics challenges and physical challenges. So we are in a precarious position. I've also said in a system of justice, help should go to those who need it the most. Right now, the people that need it the most is our community. People get colorblind all of a sudden when it comes to giving out money. But in other areas, color matters. Right now, color should matter. More money should be coming to our community because our community is suffering more. But what I'm going to say is that we should never, ever, 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 100,000 times be dependent upon the government or anybody else when we have so many resources in our community that we are not exhausting. And the biggest one is to support each other.
There you go. That's it. You know, one of the things I was listening, I was reading one of the articles, and one of our small businesses here was actually on CNN. And one of the questions that she asked, and I wrote this question down because I thought it was so prevalent to, first of all, of our small businesses. And we were talking about, you know, the loans, and this is a business whose paperwork, everything was straight, had it. But one of the questions she asked she says, what are we doing this for? Like, why are we in business? Why are we in business just to be told that we're not good enough because we're not big enough? So you're talking about the micro businesses and even the small businesses. And we can go into it about the 500 employees per location. But at the end of the day, that's the question you have to ask yourself, that we have to do it within our own. We have to use our own resources that simply says that we are good enough and we are big enough, as long as we're doing and have the structure in place. When you talk about talking to your lawyers and what it is that you need and your taxes and making sure you have all of your ducks in a row, so they won't be able to tell you no. But these
Right.
are some of the people, we had all the ducks in a row and we still got no. So that means that we still have to go in and do what's necessary to take care of each other.
Amen. Amen. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood. My company is Gatewood Marketing and Web. If you need help during these times, I've been very generous and with my time, with my resources. If I can make an introduction to somebody, if I can help you with a service, I'm offering discounts. In some cases, I'm just plain out giving my service away because I want us to come out of this. And when I talk about should businesses reopen, stay closed, I'm trying to look at it from an objective standpoint. It's easy to say, hey, because we're going to get sick more than anybody else, let's just keep them closed. But that only looks at one side of the equation. What about that effect, that impact on the economic side? That's where we have to step up as individuals, the ones who are doing well. Even if you can't give money, you can give services, you can give support, you can help people mentally get through this crisis. You can just check in on people. Like Brenda said, you don't have to prepay necessarily. You just do like a love offering on. Let's help each other out. And you know who needs help. We don't have to do a survey. If you just think about somebody, a hair salon, a barber, they haven't been open in 2 months, and they're your neighbor, they're your family member. They're not working anywhere else because they can't go get another job because those places are closed. Trust me on this one. That person probably needs some help. I
Yes.
just err on the side of caution. Just go ahead and drop them something. I made a couple of calls about a week ago, and people thought I was crazy. They thought I was Big Brother trying to check in on me. I said, hey, do you have Cash App or PayPal or Zelle or Zen? They're like, what you talking about, Willis? What you trying to do? Trying to steal? Trying to hack into my account and get my money? Well, no, actually, there's money in their account. And so if you get that
Wow.
strange, you get that strange call from me, really, I'm not trying to hack you. Okay. I maybe have felt that maybe if you get that call from me and you say, hey, look, man, I'm good. That's fine. I said, look, maybe know somebody else who could use a hand right now. And I know in my heart, and I'm a God fearing and loving person. I believe in that what goes around comes around. I believe that we will get this back. We
Oh,
will get this
yes.
back.
We will.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up today. I want to thank my co-host, Candace Camille, for her insight. She always brings such great information. I want to thank my co-host, my special guest today, Brandley the model. I want to also thank all of my people who are tuning in online, Miss Williams, Mr. Colson, that's Daryl there, Vanessa, Nathan, Betty, let's see, Bradley, Mary, Janice, and so forth and so on. Thank you guys, and continue. And also, please share this information because I think we opened up a discussion today that has been kind of one-sided. It just depends on what camp you're in. You kind of tune out everything else. But let's not be so quick to dismiss the fact that some people want to open up. We assume that they're doing it because they're trying to kill us off. But there is an economic side of we have to. I know that's a bit drastic. But we
We
can't
gotta
do this.
open at some point.
We can't do irreversible damage to the supply chain as we're starting to see by closing up places like Tyson's Food. And all of a sudden, we can't get our chicken and our pork on our table anymore. We got to start backing up. And when did this happen? It's starting to happen now. So we as a country, as a people, have to find a way to keep this economy going and keep people fed and eating. And I think right now we don't have the right people in charge who are making the right decisions because once again, the people that need the help most should be getting more help and not the people at the top of the food chain or the one percenters. Folks, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you again, everybody. Tune in next week. We'll be back next week. We're going to have Miss Bernadette Clay. She's the owner of 3 locations of the BLE Executive Suites. She's been a big supporter of the show. She's also our First Friday co-host. And also, please follow Brenda at Brand Lee the Model on Instagram and Facebook. Also, follow Candace. She is Candace.Camille. She also has a website. Is it thewellologist.com? What's your website?
It's CandaceCamille.com.
CandaceCamille.com. And also,
I'm at the Wellologist across social media.
All right. And
I'm also on LinkedIn.
You're on LinkedIn too?
Yes.
Brenda's all over the place, and she's planking everywhere she goes. So if you want to find her, just look for somebody planking on top of a metro train or something. That's probably Brenda.
That's Brenda. That's Brenda. And don't forget, Rob's gonna be planking on the top of his car, even out in the sunshine.
That's right. I'm gonna be planking on top of the car. Folks, thank you. We'll see you next week.
If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you do understand will confuse you. In all of these 9 areas of activity, economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war.